Testing. Microphone check. Microphone check. 1, 2, 3. All right, everybody, what is up? I'm just going to wait for some people to tune in, and then we're going to have a very good discussion today on the elections. I know I just might seem like a technical analyst and a day trader, a degenerate day trader to most people. But today we're going to talk about Kamala versus Trump and talk about how it's going to end up shaping the landscape of how crypto and Bitcoin is going to react to the winner. And this is a very critical day. So we'll just give it a few minutes. Maybe some more people will tune in, and then we're going to have a great talk. So I hope everyone is doing very well. It's now November the 5th, now settled into the new place. And by the way, if you want Donald Trump to win, put your hands up in the air. Whee! If you want Donald Trump to win, wave your hands in the air and wave them like you don't care. Do you guys see my mascot in the background? My mascot in the background says waving your hands. Give me a thumbs down if you want Kamala to lose. Okay, let's do this, guys. Okay, so welcome everybody. My name is Philakone, and I'm going to turn to the camera and address you guys. So my name is Philakone, and I've been in the crypto space now for about 9 years. I've seen 2 major bull markets, 2 major bear markets, and I'm here to help you survive through this next possible bull market. Regardless of who wins this election, I still believe Bitcoin's going to make a new all-time high. It's just that the road to get there is going to be a little bit different. So welcome everybody for a very exciting episode where we're going to talk about Bitcoin and the US election outcome. So I'm going to talk into which camera? This camera? Let's see how it actually looks. I haven't tried the head-on camera in front of you. Do you guys want to see my front view, or do you want to see I think this view is a little bit better. I'm more comfortable with it, so let's go with that. Okay, so with every election, people are gonna tune in to see how their investments will be affected. But this time, Bitcoin, the king of crypto, it's gonna be in for a wild ride depending on who takes office. So for Harris versus Trump, there's 2 distinct approaches to the economy, financial regulations, and especially tech innovation. And how will each of these candidates' stance shape Bitcoin's future? So in today's video, we're just gonna break down what a Harris or Trump victory could mean for Bitcoin's price, regulation, and also mainstream acceptance. So buckle up, guys. Things are about to get. Why does the politics matter to Bitcoin? So Bitcoin is decentralized, right? No government owns it, no central bank controls it, so why should it care about the politics? But here's the thing, the government's approach to finance, regulations, and even global trade, it impacts Bitcoin in a huge way. And every tax policy, every rule on trading, every restriction on crypto, it affects how people view and also use Bitcoin. So investors want to know how much freedom they'll have with their crypto, and that freedom, it's going to depend on who's in the White House. And if Harris wins, like for example, let's just talk about like her actual approach for regulation and making it a safer market, because that's what she's known for, right? So what's next for Bitcoin if she actually wins? So Harris is, like, historically, she leans more towards the regulation side, especially in finance. And her approach would likely focus on making crypto markets safer for the average investor. So it's going to aim to prevent things like fraud and protect consumer scams as well. So just a Harris administration, it might look to implement regulations that might require things like KYC more. So know your customer. It's also going to have checks and anti-laundering measures as well on a lot of crypto platforms. So in a way, it's going to make it stricter for identification processes and more reporting to prevent illegal activities. And while it sounds limiting, regulation, it's also going to benefit Bitcoin in the long term. So despite, if she won, there would no doubt probably be a pretty large sell-off as soon as it's announced, but that's only for the short term. And at first people like they're gonna resist, but they're gonna know that it's safer, which could eventually bring more people into the crypto space. So for Bitcoin regulations, it's gonna bring stability, and it's gonna attract a larger institutional investors like hedge funds, pension funds, and especially banks. So when big money feels safe to invest, Bitcoin could gain a much stronger foundation in the road as well. So a Harris win, it could mean a more controlled and stable Bitcoin market. If regulation becomes mainstream, traditional investors may feel confident enough to dive into crypto, and it's going to create like a stable path for Bitcoin's growth over the next decade. So the benefits of a regulated market, like why would anyone want it regulated, right? We like this, no KYC. We want to be able to trade on Binance as well. We want to have access to the futures market. But if you take a look at the benefits, think of what happened with like gold or another asset outside government control. So once regulations were put into place, gold became more trusted. And today it's of course a major part of investment portfolios worldwide. And this could happen with Bitcoin as well. So with the right rules, Bitcoin could gain legitimacy. Imagine Bitcoin ETFs on major exchanges, accessible to everyone from Wall Street firms to even everyday investors as well. So this mainstream acceptance, it could lead to a long-term stability, and it's going to create like a whole new world of demand as well. So with the Harris administration, we might be looking at a future where Bitcoin isn't just like a niche asset. It's actually accepted, and it's going to be a reliable part of the financial system. So I'm trying to break down the pros and the cons of everything for you guys. Well, but if Trump wins, guys, it's kind of what we want, to be quite honest. Okay, if he wins, I would probably guess right away that like within the year we're gonna hit $100,000. The market cap is going to freaking skyrocket in every single way. So if Trump wins, you can just imagine a free market and even more volatility. So what about him winning? Well, Trump has shown in the past that he prefers a more hands-on approach when it comes to regulation. He believes in letting the market decide its own fate. So under Trump, we might see minimal federal control over crypto markets, and that's kind of a better thing to have. So this approach, it's going to lead to wild price swings, something Bitcoin's already very famous for. Without clear regulation, Bitcoin would remain a high risk, high reward market. And this could attract a lot of risk takers. So people looking to make big gains in a short time, this is going to be awesome for us. However, it might deter more conservative investors who want stability. So for those that are looking for like the thrill of a roller coaster, Trump administration, it's going to be a huge win for us. Without tight regulations, Bitcoin's volatility, it's going to soar. It's going to lead to higher price spikes and deep dips. It's a risky environment, but that's exactly what makes Bitcoin exciting, right? So let's talk about taxes. Like both candidates, we won't get too deep into that. They both have different tax policies, and each one of them, it's going to impact Bitcoin significantly as well. So Harris is pushing for higher capital gains taxes on wealthy individuals, which can mean higher taxes for those cashing in on Bitcoin. So traders might be discouraged from making short-term trades if they have to pay more taxes. Whereas Trump, on the other hand, he's more likely to keep capital gains extremely low. And this lower tax burden, it could make Bitcoin a more attractive option for storing wealth, particularly for high net worth individuals. So people who want to reduce taxes on their investments might turn to Bitcoin, and it's going to potentially drive up the demand and also the price as well. So under Trump, Bitcoin is going to become much more appealing of a place for wealth storage, and people are going to look to escape high tax rates on traditional assets. And Harris's higher taxes, it could mean slower but steadier investments as people adopt on a more long term. So I'm not gonna bore you guys with this for the whole topic, but basically the point I'm trying to make for you guys is that we want Trump to win. He's going to be the one main driving factor that's going to contribute to a major rally to the upside. Even though both provide promising Bitcoin returns over the decade, it's the Trump administration that's really going to allow Bitcoin to soar. And I'm not going to get into their policies more than how it affects Bitcoin, but because I'm so heavily invested in Bitcoin, basically all my eggs are in one basket. I have to lean where my money actually is, and that's better for me long term. But don't take it the wrong way. I don't give a crap who you guys want to win. That's just where I particularly stand. So I hope that this helps you guys understand how the elections are a critical part of how Bitcoin's going to react to the market this particular week. So the elections start today in terms of being able to, head to buildings and hand in your ballot. And sometimes the ballots are all counted tonight. So the winner might be announced tonight, as in like American time, like Central Time most likely. Or it could be announced November the 6th in the morning, which would be the afternoon, for example, Europe for me. Or it might even take a few days depending on how tight it is as well. And of course, if you guys are following it, right, it's going to really come down to a bunch of the swing states like always. So let's jump into how the market is looking. Yesterday, Bitcoin ended up falling down to about 66.8K region. I'm still predicting a possibility of it actually dropping down to 66K. But the good news is that we are getting a pretty damn good candle, because I think that the anticipation for a Trump victory is coming up right now. In fact, a lot of investors are hedging right now on Harris, which is a good sign, because if they're hedging on Harris, then they're betting that Trump is going to win. A lot of institutions are also betting on the economy in favor of Trump policies already. So this is looking incredibly good for now. With 12 hours left to close this doji candle, it might be a very good sign. But if we take a look at it, for example, on a weekly chart or on the 4-day chart over here, we can see that this yellow trend line is creating higher lows, right? Higher lows. Every time it's making higher lows. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we end up hitting one more higher low somewhere around here. So this was a very significant resistance based off of price action. This arrow here was the high. This one here as well was a low. So right around this corner right here, I think 66 to 64K is significant. Why do I say 64K? Because this is actually where, if you take a look, this 215-day resistance, right? It's basically creating like an area right around this corner of like a strong support. So if you had to ask me, do I ever think Bitcoin will get lower than 64,000 again? I'm going to tell you right in the eyes that no, I don't think it's even possible for us to get there again. One of my favorite indicators is the volatility indicator, the ATR, right? So you can see that right here, this is so important to understand how the volatility started here. This volatility started because, well, actually, first of all, here's when the SEC denied the first ETF. Here is where the SEC said to BlackRock, hey, maybe if you make these adjustments to the ETF, you could get approved. So if the SEC is making recommendations to BlackRock to get their ETF approved, that's usually a good sign, which kicked off the bull market even more. So because of that, we ended up going into a bullish volatility for 293 days before we turned red. So the green line indicates bullish volatility. We finally broke the bullish volatility for 80 days, but guess what? The volatility changed again, and this is a very powerful indicator for how the market can move. This is called the chandelier exit indicator. So right now, we are at a major weekly resistance right here. See this weekly right there? So you can see that ever since the bull market began, okay, the bull market began like pretty much bottomed out in 2022. Right around here is where the official volatility began, actually January 2023. So we held bullishly for 581 days, which is about how long? 21 and a half months. So 21 and a half months we held bullishly, and we finally flipped red for the first time. But guess what? We're near that resistance again. We're getting back to this resistance that wants to get broken. So the major resistance is like $72,000 to $74,000. Like, it's just a matter of time till we end up breaking to the upside. So if Donald Trump wins, I'll end up leveraging my multi-million-dollar position like 1.5 to 2x. because that's how confident I'm going to be in the market if Trump wins. If we end up getting Kamala, I'll probably end up trying my best to DCA further with the very little capital I have left. And I'm just going to weather that storm. And when the market drops, which I'm sure that it will for a short term, for probably a month or two, I'm guessing, then I'm going to predict that I'm probably going to leverage when it gets to a bottom. And I still think that we're going to get to some pretty good all-time highs. But I do believe that the ceiling for a Trump administration is a lot higher for Bitcoin than it would be for Harris. There's no doubt about that. So right now, Bitcoin is going to struggle and most likely find the support between 64 to 66K. If the elections go very well today, we're probably going to break above $74,000 within a week, I'm guessing. So that's my prediction. So for now, guys, stay strong to your positions. This is not the time to be de-risking your portfolio, okay? Like, it's not the time. It's right around the corner. This is not a time to be like, oh, maybe I should reduce my positions, you know? This is a time where you should be looking at the elections very closely. And if Trump wins, it should be a time where you're even thinking of adding to your position. And also know that regardless of who wins, right, there's still going to be a bull market. All the data is pointing towards it. If you're looking at the ETF inflows right now, they are skyrocketing. It is an unbelievable amount of crypto that all these institutions are buying up right now. So make sure you guys are staying strong, and I believe that many good days are to come as well. And my Chrome actually ended up freezing. So I'm just going to end the video here. So thank you very much, guys, for your time, and have yourself a great day. And I'll see you for the next